What if I told you that you can decorate for the 4th of July without a single bright store-bought primary color thing in sight? Stick around because today we're turning coffee filters, scrap fabric, and a few dollar store finds into the coziest Cottage USA decor you've ever seen.
Hey y'all, I'm Kelly, and this is where cozy meets real life. Welcome to Kelly's Cozy Living.
So here's what we've got going on today. We're making my coffee filter wreath, and I'm just gonna say it, that one might be my favorite. Then I've got several more projects for you, plus my favorite tips and tricks along the way to get that soft, aged, cozy Cottage USA look. So grab your coffee because we're gonna need it for more than just sipping today, and let's get started. Okay, so first up are these flags, and y'all, this might be the easiest little upgrade in the whole video. I grabbed these at Walmart. They're a 12-foot poly cotton garland, and they're cute on their own, but a little too bright and new for the cozy cottage look I'm going for. So we're gonna fix that with a little coffee. I just stained them right up to take that brand new brightness down and give them that soft, aged, been here forever feel. And here they are up on the mantle. Now, I had 2 flags hanging over the shelves on each side, and I needed to do something with those. So I just folded them up accordion style, you know, back and forth like a little fan, and tied them off in the middle with a small red ribbon to make a sweet little bow. So easy, and it solved my problem perfectly. But here's the thing that was bugging me. See all that white up top holding the flags up? It just wasn't doing it for me. So I dug out some of this pretty aged blue floral fabric, made one little snip, and then ripped it into strips. And listen, I almost always rip my fabric instead of cutting it. I just love those soft frayed edges. That's the cottage feel right there. Then I took my hot glue and just tacked the fabric on, nice and light, so if I ever want to take it off down the road, it comes right off easy. Finished it up with a pretty little fabric tied right in the center. And I'm telling you, adding that fabric is what really made it. That one little step took it from cute to cozy cottage. Here's a quick little tip. I took some ripped fabric scraps, just tied a strip around each candlestick. No glue, no fuss, and it instantly ties the whole cozy cottage look together. Such an easy way to use up your scraps. All right, this is the one I've been most excited to show you, the coffee filter wreath. Let me walk you through what you'll need. First, a foam wreath form. I got mine at Hobby Lobby and went with a bigger size on purpose, but you can absolutely find these cheaper somewhere else if you want to save a little. Then coffee filters you need a lot. I used a whole 250 count, plus a little extra, so grab more than you think you'll need. And for the color, I used RIT dye in navy blue and scarlet red, and I mixed in a little graphite to deepen that red up into more of a cozy, aged shade. And of course, our good friend coffee for the cream colored ones. Now you can dye your whole batch all at once, which is so nice. But please, please learn from me and wear your gloves. I forgot more than a few times and walked around with bright red hands all day. Not my cutest look. Once they're dyed, I toss mine in the dryer to speed things up, but I'll be honest with you, it started getting dye on the inside of my dryer. So I threw an old towel in there with them, and that fixed it right up. Just keep an eye on them too, because those filters are light and they'll block up your airflow if you're not careful. Now for the fun part, The trick that worked best for me was a regular old pencil. I'd set the center of the filter on the pencil, scrunch it up a little, add a dab of hot glue, and press it right onto the foam wreath. Hold it just a few seconds to set, and that's it. And then it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. I'm not gonna lie, this part takes a while, so put on a good show and settle in. Here's a little tip though. After I finished the blue section, I stopped and measured and marked out my sections so the red and the white would come out nice and even. Just a couple little marks saved me from eyeballing it and ending up lopsided. Oh, and for the stars, I kept it so simple. These are just little wood stars from Dollar Tree, and I left them pretty much as is. The only thing I did was add a little gold rub and buff to give them a soft vintage shimmer, then hot glued them right on. That tiny bit of gold is what keeps them from looking too plain. Such a small touch, but it makes a difference. Now, because my front door is glass, you can actually see the back of this wreath, so I cut out some white fabric and glued it on to cover everything up nice and clean. Then I made a little hanger out of twine, glued it down, and stuck a few pins in to hold it while it dried. And here she is. Y'all, I am obsessed with how this turned out. I actually wanted to hang it on the outside of my door at first, but I was worried the birds would get after it, so it's living on the inside instead. And honestly, I love being able to see it every time I walk by. Okay, this next one is so fast and easy, it barely even counts as a project. It's the frame flag, and it's one of those no-skill ideas anybody can do. I started with a frame I snagged on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Gotta love a good clearance find. Then I grabbed one of those little flags on a stick from Walmart, popped it right off the stick, and gave it a good coffee stain to take that brand new look away. Then I just set it in the frame. But here's my little tip. The frame was bright white, a little too crisp for the cozy look, so I took an ink pad and just rubbed it along the edges to age it down. Such a simple trick to soften up anything that feels too new. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Instant cozy cottage flag ready for the mantle. Okay, y'all, these firecrackers might be my favorite, and the best part, they were completely free because I already had everything on hand. I started with some 4x4 wood that I cut down into 3 different heights, just whatever sizes worked with what I had. Then I took my sander and knocked down all those hard edges to soften them up a bit and drilled a small hole in top. First, I painted them all white. I used Waverly and Ivory, and I did 2 good coats to get nice coverage. This is your base, so don't rush it. Then for the blue, I used Waverly Night Sky. I did one of them solid blue, and on the tallest one, I just painted the top blue so it'd look a little different from the others. Mixing it up like that keeps the set from looking too matchy. Now, before I painted any red, I marked out all my lines first. Trust me, that little bit of measuring makes the stripes come out so much cleaner. Then I filled them in with Waverly Crimson. Roll Tide. For the stars, I made myself a little stencil and used that same ivory to paint them on. Simple, and it keeps everything looking cohesive. Okay, here's where the magic happens. This is what gives them that cozy cottage feel instead of looking brand new. First, I went over everything lightly with a sanding block just to give them a little distressed, worn look around the edges. Then I mixed up some Waverly truffle with a little water, brushed it on, and wiped it right back off. That aging wash settles into all the little nooks and tones everything down so pretty. This step right here is my secret to that aged, been around forever look. Last thing, the little wicks. I took 2 tan pipe cleaners from my stash, twisted them together, and then wrapped them around a pencil to get that fun little spiral shape. A dab of glue, and they're in, and there they are. I'm telling you, these turned out so cute, and the fact that they cost me absolutely nothing makes me love them even more. And on the tall one, I tied a little ribbon around it that I found at Hobby Lobby, the cutest United We Stand print, and it just adds a sweet little finishing touch. This one is quick and so budget friendly. I found this little frame at the thrift store for 99 cents. Can you believe that? Gotta love a good thrift find. I have a shop called Moonlight Wolf Studios where I sell my digital artwork, and I'll pop the link down in the description if you want to take a peek. I just printed one of my own pieces at Walgreens, and I went with this sweet birdhouse from my USA colored cottage farmhouse collection. It fit the cozy theme perfectly. Then I just popped it in the frame, and that's it. A 99-cent frame and a print, and you've got the prettiest little cottage piece. For this next one, we're making a cozy fabric flag, and I love this because it's another use what you have project. I started with an old sign I think I picked up at Hobby Lobby years ago, but honestly, any base will work. A piece of wood, a canvas, whatever you've got. Don't go buy something special for this. Then I pulled out a bunch of fabric that all worked together, and you know me by now, I ripped it all into strips for that soft, frayed cottage edge. I laid them out as my stripes, alternating the patterns as I went so you get that pretty mix of florals and ticking and gingham. For the star section, I had this blue fabric with little white stars, but the stars were way too bright and new looking. So a quick coffee stain, and that toned them right down to that aged, cozy color we love. Then I just tucked it into the corner where the stars go, and to finish, I made a little fabric strip bow and added it right up top. Another sweet little flag made entirely from things I already had on hand. These little fabric spools, and y'all are not gonna believe what these are made from. The tall one, that's a paper towel roll, and the little one is a toilet paper roll. That's it. Don't you dare throw those away anymore. For the ends, I used wood pieces top and bottom. On the tall ones, I used some bark wood rounds for more of a rustic look, and the little one has a wood round I grabbed from Dollar Tree. You can pick whichever feels right, depending on how rustic you want it. Then I gave them that aged finish you've seen me use all video, my water and truffle paint mixture, brushed on and wiped back. And once that dried, I went over them with a little dry brushed white to soften everything up. To cover the rolls, I wrapped them in a bit of batting first, just to give them a nice plump base, then covered that with fabric for a smooth, solid background. And here's the fun part. I took strips of fabric, tied them together into cute little bows, alternating my patterns as I went to add some interest, and just wrapped them right around the spool. And because I always have leftovers, I added one of those little stars from my coffee filter wreath right on top. And that, my friends, is the whole project. 2 empty rolls, some scraps, and a little time, and you've got the sweetest cozy cottage spools for your shelf. I'm obsessed. And that's a wrap, friends. I hope you found a project or two in here that you can't wait to try. Whether you're a seasoned crafter or you're just dipping your toes in for the first time, remember, almost everything we made today came from stuff I already had on hand. So don't be afraid to shop your own house first and make these your own. If you enjoyed hanging out with me today, I'd love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. That little bit of support means the world and helps me keep making these for you. And if you make any of these projects, come back and tell me about it. I just love hearing from y'all. Until next time, stay cozy and happy crafting.